Hey guys, we are so excited to have you join us tonight to learn more about the Tower Garden. We're welcoming you to a green future, growing healthy and sustainable foods. And we are so excited to show you and tell you about what you can do with the Tower Garden and how it can benefit your home. So what is a Tower Garden? It is officially a vertical aeroponic growing system. What does that mean? I'll tell you that in a minute. Which uses all natural earth mineral growing tonic and is developed by Tim Blank. Now, vertical aeroponic growing system, in the bottom where that green tub is, it's full of water, and there's a pump in there. That pump pushes the water up, and then at the top it has holes, and it just trickles down onto the roots of every one of the plants. And you can grow 20 to 28 regular plants, or you can also grow, have a micro extension kit, which you can grow another 32 microgreens. So with this, this whole process was developed by Tim Blank, who started out with Epcot with their hydroponic system. And then he was hired by NASA to develop some kind of growing system for the space, well, for people up in space. And from there, he started thinking, we have so many people who need healthy fruits and vegetables who can't really afford or don't want to go out and buy things that cost a lot of money. So he said, you know, everybody needs this. And eventually he partnered with Juice Plus, and we have the Tower Garden. And here what you're gonna see is 4 weeks from the time the seedlings are planted to their fruit. So when you look at that, not only do you have all this luscious vegetation that you can eat, the kids can walk up to it, pull it off, eat, you can take it, you can have company, you can make a salad, but it's also a work of art. Depending on what you plant and where you plant it, it can be an absolute beauty, or it can be a sci-fi project. So why the Tower Garden? Well, if you look around, there's an explosive interest in gardening. But part of the problem with gardening is you have so many people in the cities or in apartments or somewhere where they don't have land. So they want to garden, but how can you do it when you don't have a lot of land? And then you have what's called, has been fondly nicknamed the locavore movement, where people want, like the farm to table, they want to buy local and make sure they're getting that fine ripened produce that has all the nutrients. And it's also being driven by the media. You see it everywhere, that fresh local produce, the advertisements. So with this, without the land, you need a 3 foot by 3 foot space. Think about that. I've just told you you can grow 20 to 28 plants or more in a 3 foot by 3 foot area. They're easy to install. They're easy to maintain because remember, it's water. There's no dirt, there's no weeds. And it's less climate sensitive. You have consistency with the water going through. You have the sunlight. If you grow inside, you have the lights that you can put on, the grow-in lights, so you can grow year-round.
Go ahead.
Okay, and here, you know, we showed you the video of what it looked like when it's done in a controlled environment where the company's doing it, but it was important for you to see that this is a real life tower. This was in my backyard. And I wanted to show just even 1 week the difference it makes. You see the smaller plants on the left, and then I took pictures again a week later, and that's how much they had grown. So you get that vine ripened produce much faster with the tower. And then when we talk about the sci-fi, this was actually my tower garden, and I can grow 28 plants, and it just really loved the light and where it was sitting last year. So those are actual plants that we were eating, and man, we had a lot. Okay, so with the tower garden, we showed you that you can grow the healthy produce. But it's because we want to grow our good health, so we can pick that vine from produce right off the garden. It's very nutritious, and you have farm to table at your home, at your business, at your restaurant. You don't even have to go to a farmer's market. You still can, but you have it in your own yard. And you can taste it, and it tastes so good when you pick it right off. And I'll share you a little story. When I first got my tower, I had been gardening in our yard, in our backyard, and I had cilantro. Well, when we decided to get the tower garden, I did not grow in the ground that year. I only grew in the tower, and I had fresh cilantro in the tower. Well, I was in the yard doing some gardening and noticed that the cilantro was growing out of the ground, and I'm like, great. So I picked it up and I just popped it in my mouth and I started to eat it. And I literally spit it out because I could taste the chemicals that were in the ground that got transferred to the plant. And then I tasted the one from my tower, and it was fresh and it was clean. And there were none of these chemical metallic taste. It just was wonderful. So what are some of the other benefits? So we have here conventional gardening versus the tower garden. So water usage, you have to water daily, water a lot. It depends on the climate. The tower garden, you add water once or twice a week, depending on how hot it is and how big your plants are. So not a lot of water. We talked about space. The conventional gardening, it depends on what you want to grow. You could have a little space, a 3 foot by 3 foot space for a few plants, or you would need a whole yard. So it takes up a lot. Again, tower garden, 3 foot by 3 foot. The speed, when it's in the ground, it takes longer. When you use the tower, it's that the growing process is sped up exponentially. The yield, you have what comes out of your conventional gardening, you get more from the tower garden. Again, you can put those 20 to 28 plants in that 3 foot by 3 foot space versus just a few plants in a 3 foot by 3 foot space. With the garden, a conventional garden, you have lots of weeding you have to do. There's some of us who would almost, okay, I won't go so far as rather die than weed, but it's pretty close for some of us. At the tower garden, you don't have the weeds. 50% of, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but the bugs, you think about conventional gardening and bugs, insects, and having to spray. Because the tower is not on the ground, 50% of the insect issue is gone automatically. So the nutrition, the conventional gardening is very dependent on what is in the soil. Our tower gardens, you know exactly the nutrients going in, so you have nutrient-dense produce. And of course, you have the convenience of walking out your door, or if you have it in your kitchen, just pulling it off right there in the kitchen and making your salad, adding it to your recipes, whatever you're going to do. So I'm not sure if you have heard, but, well, you know, the tower garden makes gardening environmentally friendly. Here you have a picture in 2011 and 2014. What we're seeing is reservoirs are being drained because of water usage for farming, for companies, different things, and you're seeing water go down. Well, you think our farm that we have in our tower garden, you're not using much. It's a 20-gallon tank. And once you fill it up the first time, you're not adding 20 gallons every time. It's only what you need to make up the difference. So it's very helping with the environment in that. So again, uses less than 10% water, uses less than 10% land, and you control the pesticides and herbicides. And again, that's very, very important because you have total control over what's going to go on your food that you're going to bring inside and eat yourself or feed your family. And the other thing, if you watch the news, you know how big this community gardening is, how big it is to have that fresh produce. Well, if you ever go to Chicago O'Hare, they have an urban farm that provides the produce for their restaurants there. And then there's a picture of Emerald. He uses them also for his cooking. So Wendy, I will pass it over to you.
Well, thank you, Pam. We love our tower gardens, don't we?
Yes.
We've got 2 tower gardens. One thing about the tower gardening is it is fun. I just have so much fun doing it. You don't have to have a green thumb. I'm not somebody that could grow a garden, but I can do the tower garden. You basically plug it in, fill it up, add the minerals, and then there's a pump in it that'll switch on every 15 minutes to water it. And the roots need that air as well. And I think that's part of why the plants grow so quickly. And there's so much nutrient richness to the produce. Is part of it is it's aeroponic, but it's hydroponic as well. So a little bit of both. It's allowing those roots to dry to the air, which is so important. What we're finding, and a lot of research has come out, is that children who garden and families who grow together really eat together. They're eating a lot more produce. So these gardens are going crazy in the school systems as educational tools. They're in a lot of different restaurants. They're on top of restaurants. We've got a rooftop garden here in the Dayton area. And they're being used, as Pam was sharing, for like science experiments, but also nutrition classes and science classes. They're using it for writing. It's just an incredible tool for education for children. It's so much fun. This is Stephen Ritz. I don't know if you guys have heard of the greenbronxmachine.org. You want to go to that website and check out his videos. This is the most amazing man. One of the most amazing men I have ever met or heard speak. He's over here on the left, on the top. Again, his name is Stephen Ritz, and he is making a difference in the Bronx. As we know, so many people in the Bronx are lower income, don't have much money, they're not eating well. And he is a teacher there who's in the school system, who started this nonprofit organization. Together with his students, they have grown over 65,000 pounds of vegetation on these gardens. And he's teaching the kids the importance of growing. And so they've transformed the area of the Bronx. They're growing produce out in, underneath the highways and different areas. They're just going crazy with growing and educating about fruits and vegetables and the power. So take a look if you get a chance. This man has won many awards, has actually spoken with the president. He is just a major influencer. So you definitely want to take a look at that when you get a chance. So the tower gardens are going crazy in the school systems, which is exciting. A lot of people are putting them on their balconies. So, for example, where it's sunny and warm, California, Florida, Texas, there's high rises. And as long as there is a patio, a balcony with sunlight, people can have a tower garden out there, or on a condo, as long as there's a patio. 3 by 3 foot is all you need in order to have a tower garden. So it's wonderful. And then in the assisted living locations, just really fun projects for them. They get to get their hands on living produce, grow flowers. And so even in the wheelchair, they're accessible to touching and being involved in planting seeds and watching them grow. And so I love that these are bringing life to people in the assisted living areas. My own personal garden here at our house, my husband and I, we just go out, we take a bowl, we pull the produce that we want, peppers, cucumbers, whatever it might be, tomatoes, and then we clip off the lettuces we need, the herbs we need or want, I guess, and we just make a salad. We bring that in. We don't even have to wash it, really, because we don't have insecticides or pesticides on it. So we just eat the produce. Sometimes I'll be standing outside or sitting out by the tower garden on our porch and just catching up on email, whatever it is I'm doing for work, and I'll just roll up like a pepper with some herbs in a lettuce wrap, and just that'll be a snack, and it's just wonderful. It's a very convenient way to just have healthy food growing right there on your side deck. And in the winter, we use grow lights and have it growing year round. So you can purchase your tower garden if this is something that interests you. They are $525 plus shipping for that. But the company also is doing 12 interest-free payments of $45.25 a month. And I love that it's interest-free. So you're paying for it either way, whichever way you prefer. And a lot of, I know for us, we've sold a few of these for Christmas presents. So it's something to consider as you're thinking about Christmas approaching here. And really, it makes gardening very affordable. If you take a look at, if you are somebody who does eat a lot of produce, which we are, and I do like to buy organic, I like to buy the premium, the best if possible, because I know that that is the best for our bodies and that's the best for our health. We don't want all those chemicals. So you can see at the bottom here at the organic cucumbers, seedless cucumbers are $4, and they were purchasing 4 of them. So right there, that's quite a bit of money just for cucumbers. So when you think about what you're purchasing and what the Tower Garden can grow for you, and especially after you've paid for it that year, because these are so durable. They're made out of a plant-based plastic, or what is it? Not plant-based plastic, nutrition grade plastic. So it's a really high quality, healthy plastic, but it's going to last, I think it's going to last a lifetime. So after you've paid for it, then your produce is extremely affordable because you're just really growing your own seeds and putting those in. And you have to buy the tonic on occasion as well. So it pays for itself. It's designed to work and to last. And the fresh becomes affordable as well as convenient. There are some accessories that you can get for the garden. The gardens come also in a family garden, which is like 3 gardens together. A lot of times that's what the schools will do. We also have community gardens, which is like 12 gardens, and that might be for like a restaurant. They might purchase a rooftop of growing a lot of produce. The grow lights, we have a dolly that you see at the bottom left, and that's so you can roll it around and turn it, maybe to get more sun. Some people like to turn that and around. So these are some of the items in addition that you can get. There's also a support cage, and that would be for like growing things like tomatoes, where they're viney, then they can grow on that cage. It does already come with the submersible pump and the timer. It comes with the seeds and everything you see in this kit. It does come with the mineral solution. So basically this Tower Garden system up here, you have everything to get you started. This is a picture of the grow lights in action. This is, the grow lights are like movable, so you can kind of raise them up and down and turn them however you want them. They're wonderful. And so that's what it looks like. If you want to grow indoor gardening. And here's the family again, and it shows what comes with the Tower Garden family if you'd like to purchase 3. So that is the end of our presentation. I don't know if anyone has any questions. I'm going to stop the screen share here. We'll go back to the picture, and I'm going to stop the recording.